everybody, and welcome to Whiskey at Work.
This is another one of your bad ideas.
This is a bad idea because I'm drinking what you paid for. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another weekly edition of a little thing we call Whiskey at Work. What time is it? Look at that. It's not even 4 o'clock yet.
Beautiful.
You're Gabe,
Yeah.
to my right over here. You're not working today at all, though, are you?
No,
You're off today.
I had off
How did
today.
that happen? How does that work with? It's in the military. Is it just like you can request PTO like in any job?
No, I mean, today was a federal holiday,
Well, yeah, but
so I had off.
Well, our military still protects us during federal holidays, don't they, Gabe?
Sure.
if I were the enemy, I would.
If that's
I
what
would
you want
attack
to
on,
think,
like,
you go
Christmas.
ahead.
Oh, I suppose. So
Everybody gets the day off.
So I'm assuming there's obviously a rotation thing there then for who works certain whatevers.
Yeah, I mean, if you're
Okay.
a mandatory worker.
Oh, I see.
I'm
Got
not
it.
mandatory.
You're not mandatory.
I'm not important. Non-essential.
No, but that mustache is. Look
Damn
at
straight. What I tell you guys 3 weeks ago, he's like, oh, my mustache. Oh.
that. And you brought it in.
We
You brought
were
it in
very
strong. It was
complimentary
good.
of the mustache.
Is that what it was? Can we roll? Can we
go
go back to 3 weeks
It
ago?
was. Of course, Dan Bruner then across from me from Timmins Market. Hello, Dan.
Hello.
You didn't have the day off.
I did
today.
not.
You guys were open, obviously.
We were.
I mean, it's federal holidays just for federal employees, right?
And bankers.
And bankers, yes.
Yeah.
It's been very dark in this building here
I imagine.
today. Quiet. See, this is when we should crank up the stereos around here,
We
right?
had some confused people that came up here and tried to cash checks earlier today.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, we did.
You liar.
I am not lying.
Seriously.
Rana's like, oh, no, the bank's closed. I'm not the bank. He's like, what? It's a holiday?
Oh, boy. Okay. And, of course, directly across from me, Rob Henry. Hi,
You missed me.
when didn't I see you? I saw you last week, not the week before.
No,
Didn't
you're
miss
luckier.
you then either.
You're luckier than these two.
Yeah, no kidding. Anyway, we're drinking here because we're at work and it's whiskey time and we had something drop into our lap last week that I don't think either one of
Actually
us
got dropped off at the loud.
saw coming. Just, Father's Day is over, so keep your dad jokes to yourself if you could, okay?
Well, you're confusing people.
We saw a post come up, of course, because we follow Proof Artisan Distillers up in Fargo, North Dakota. And they had put a post up of this limited edition 6-year Crooked Furrow that they do. And if you've listened to any of these podcasts or watched the videos, you know that we fell in love with this about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago
longer
maybe.
than that,
Yeah.
maybe.
When we came across a bottle of this and we're like, this is amazing for something that's distilled in North Dakota, a true bourbon using everything from North Dakota. I know you want so desperately to make a North Dakota joke right
It's
now.
not amazing just because it was distilled
Well,
in North Dakota.
kind of.
It's just amazing because it's good.
Right.
But are
you-
they jokes or statements of fact?
about North Dakota?
Yeah.
I don't need it from you either, Dan.
Well,
okay? All right.
This has nothing really to do with North Dakota. This is just a statement about how good this whiskey is.
And Gabe, have you ever been to North Dakota?
No.
No, not
and
yet.
I
Oh.
don't plan on it. I'm good.
know,
as
there
far
are-
north as I want to go is right here.
There are Air Force bases up there, too.
Oh, I'm
Gabe.
very well aware. Yep.
Why not? Why not?
That's
Yep.
right. Exactly.
No, thank you.
Okay, so we saw a post that popped up where they did a limited release of their 6-year bourbon. And by limited, we were just surprised to find out there's only 250 bottles of this. And
Well, at
Jay,
least that's what the label says.
right? And Jay from Proof Artisan sent an email, said, "Hey, I'm going to be down in your area. Would you guys like a bottle of this?" And then we responded back with, "That's the dumbest question we've ever been emailed, Jay. Of course we would like a bottle of this."
Idiot. Of course I do.
So we thought it would be cool to, and I don't know how interesting this is to anybody outside of me personally, probably, but their normal bourbon is a 4-year, 90 proof bourbon. This is an extra 2 years, and I was really curious to see if you can find a noticeable difference in it. Gabe's got a good palate for this kind of thing. Dan, you do too. I mean, both of you guys really go all in to try to understand this. Rob and I just drink it. We know if it's good or not.
Oh, we know if we
mostly.
like it or not.
Right, exactly. So, have you guys? If you, Rob, I know has been drinking since well before we started this. Have you guys tried one yet?
Well, quit raining.
We did.
Don't tease me.
Oh God. So, did you guys try one yet?
No, I haven't.
I tried the 4-year.
Dan, you've had the 4 year.
Yep,
you
I
sell
have a bottle of it.
You can buy it at Timmins
Correct.
Market, of
Yep.
course. Both stores?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. And it just recently got down here. It didn't get in our market like end of February, I believe, is when it finally.
Yeah,
The week of Whiskey
They
Fest.
got
Yeah.
it down here just in time for
Yep.
Whiskey
Yep.
Fest, first weekend in March.
And Gabe, you've never had it at all yet, have you?
No, I have had
Okay.
this one with Dan
Okay.
at a small tasting we went to. Actually, the same day as the day before Whiskey Fest,
Yep.
I think it was.
We met with the crew from Proof
Yep.
and tasted through their whole assortment.
And it's boy, I haven't had the 4 year in a while, and just it's as good as I remember it. I mean, it's just
I
full bodied. It's got so much flavor in there for where it comes from. But what's your take on it?
Is that another dig on North Dakota?
I can
I'm
because
not even making fun of North
I was-
Dakota this bad, and you're from there.
I was born and raised there, so I can. And yes, we have our
So
issues.
that's the
but
way. That explains so
that
much.
will explain everything.
now I get it.
Yes, you should. So what do you get on this, Gabe? When you try the 4 year?
I like the nose a lot. I think the nose is very sweet and candy-ish and syrupy, vanilla. Well, more honey than vanilla, really, on the nose. I mean, what do you think, Dan? On the
Same.
nose? Yeah.
What do you get, Rob?
Deliciousness.
What'd you get out of that? Okay, now I'm trying to find the honey. It doesn't smell like honey, and I don't know if I get vanilla in there either. God, you look so dumb when you do this.
know, just
Put
drink
your
it.
face in it. I know. I get it, but I don't. I guess I just.
As opposed to you shoving your nose in the Glencairn glass, because that
Well,
looks really attractive.
It
when-
doesn't. None of it does. But it's for what this bourbon is. It's an award winner. I know they've had it out at some competitions, and it's been a pretty big deal. And we've recommended it from the very first time we've ever tried it. Well, I mean, what do you think, Dan? Did you just overall?
Yeah, when I tried it, I think I tried the bottle that you guys had originally, this same one, because this is
Yeah,
a single barrel
'cause
out
it
of,
was-
from Happy Harry's, right?
Yes,
one here?
I think. Yeah, it
Yep.
is. Yep.
And so I actually had a friend that was up in North Dakota and picked one up before we learned that they were going to be coming down this way. Because I really liked that one that we tried that was finished in their gin barrels.
yeah.
Really, really liked that one. And so I had Corey pick me up a bottle of both of those, the gin finish and the single barrel, and it's really, really enjoyable.
So is there an age for Gabe, you or Dan in bourbon where you're like, yep, that's my sweet spot? It has to be a 4 year or a 6 or an 8. Does it matter the age statement on bourbons?
For me, I don't know if it's as much a perfect age statement, but I know that anything too far beyond 12, 13, 14, it starts to get a little too tannic for me. Some of the older stuff just starts to pick up a little bit too much of that barrel influence and starts to become a little bit bitter on the finish and just picks up a lot of the tannins from the oak.
Well, why? Well, maybe I could answer that question. But when it comes to Scotch in those barrels, and you get to 12 to 14, God, Rob, I knew you were
Rob's
gonna do
shaking
this.
his head.
I
He's
know.
like, son of a.
Well, you get to 12 to 14 to
Oh, he
18 to
teased me
20
up on
year,
this every time.
You know, Scotch seems to get better without that
'Cause of
adverseness that bourbon
The
gets.
climate.
You think
Climate
that's what it is?
Yeah, oh yeah, 100%. I mean, even with this, I mean, you take it's going to be an extreme example, but you take a 2-year-old or 1.5-year-old Texas single malt, Texas bourbon, against that Texas bourbon is going to be way darker, way oakier, way more complex in flavor. You might not like the flavor that's there, but it will be probably more complex
Just because of the heat and humidity.
because of the
Correct.
heat. Angel share, devil share interaction with the barrel. Oh yeah, entirely. I mean, that's what makes Scotch so unique.
Well,
too.
I thought maybe it was because too, since it's already been in a barrel that's had bourbon in it, the bourbon might have sucked a lot of that out.
Well, there's a lot of first fill scotches as well. If you ever hear virgin oak, that's another word for fresh new oak, which is used a lot in Scotch as well.
I have not heard that. There's a lot of 12-year-old jokes in my brain right now that
Nope.
I'm going to throw out there, but no, I haven't heard that. But yeah, it seems like bourbon. It seems like it does has a definite end point. I think.
For me, it really depends on the distillery character and the type of casks they're using. Because look, I mean, I've had, for example, hate to bring it up, but let's talk about it for a minute. Blanton's, right? Blanton's is 6 to 8 years old, relatively. I mean, it can be a little bit older. I guess it could be a little bit younger. Not really too sure, but I've had a lot of Blantons that were fantastic, and they could have been probably 6 to 7 years old. And I've had some that were not so good. And I think it has everything to do with the oak or the barrel they're using, the level on the rick house, and the environment. Like for example, this one to me, it's a little thin for me. I like a little bit more bolder oak. I like a little bit more fruit characteristics, and this is missing that for me. That's why, I mean, one of my favorite that unfortunately that is very hard to get now is Stag Junior. Stag Junior has always remained one of my favorite whiskeys, and I think it's because it's high proof, but then there's a fruity character to that I love. And it's only about 7 years old.
Okay. Well, let's go. Then let's try this. Let's try the 6 year, because right away when you look at it, it is much darker.
Substantial.
In just 2 more years in that barrel.
The nose is darker. The nose is darker.
You can describe it that way.
Yeah. So imagine light honey and then like kind of burnt toasted honey.
Light honey, burnt toasted honey.
Just
Light honey.
face it. We're never going to get
I'm not.
this.
I'm never going to be. I want to, but I can't. All right.
Oh, see, I on the nose, this is more my jam. This is more that darker fruit, richer honey. And the way I describe it too is body of whiskey, right?
Right.
So the body is all about how it feels to you, right? Does it feel thin? Does it coat your mouth? Is it oily? Is it dry? Is it so you can have a lot of flavors, right? But they could just be hitting the surface of those flavors. Or you could have a lot of flavors and they're more enhanced. They're tuned up. And that to me is what this is.
Did you try that then?
I haven't tried it yet.
Okay,
but
do
on the
it.
nose.
Do it. Let me see what you think. I'll tell you right now. It is. It's really good.
Yeah, this is better.
This
This
has
is
got
better.
a lot heavier mouthfeel. It stays with you longer.
Mm-hmm.
Again, this one is like kind of thin and watery to me. This is more that you're starting to reach those richer oaks, those richer tannins, those richer honeys. It's the same flavor as this, but it's turned up.
It's just thick.
Yeah.
THICC is what this one is. Thick. This is thick.
God.
Boy, if you don't settle down.
It is
I'm
good.
gonna have him show you a picture here in a minute.
We're not gonna. No, I don't want to see that. I know that.
Are we going to see a thick photo
No,
of
we're
Ron?
gonna see. We're gonna.
Wow.
Wait a minute.
Most photos of me are thick.
Are thick. But
That's your jam, right?
I totally get what you're saying.
Is that why you guys are good friends?
That this is again.
That might be an exaggeration of our relationship.
It's a good place to start if you're going to drink bourbon. I think. I would like to try that. This one I'd like to try with a little bit of water in it.
I should have brought that other bottle of
But-
Crooked Furrow. I don't know what the difference would be if they're both single barrels or. I wasn't paying attention when I grabbed this one out of.
Is this a single barrel?
But this felt like, it says single barrel select on it.
Oh yeah. Okay.
This feels kind of like what you're describing, the 4 year. It goes down a little tougher. Not in a bad way. Yeah,
more
it
biting.
bites. There you go. And this is just
It's a little smoother. I agree with you there.
what do you think about it?
I'm a Crooked Furrow fan. We've established that. I mean, I'm gonna drink it.
No matter what they do.
Especially if they keep sending it down here. I'm not gonna bite the hand that feeds me. Come on.
So I
These guys
guess
are awesome.
I am really surprised that in just a 2 year difference it can be that distinct. I guess I thought there's somebody like you or Gabe would be able to distinguish, but boy, yeah, you could blindfold anybody and be like, yeah, those are two very different things, right? I mean, what's your thought on it then, Dan?
Yeah, it's the 6 year definitely has a lot more of the complex layers of flavor that I enjoy. Much richer, more robust. I think Gabe described it perfectly when he said that the flavor profiles are very similar, but if this one's sitting at a volume level of 7, this one's more 9 or 10.
Okay.
It's just turned up a little bit, and all of the flavors are more intensified and more distinguishable. Like this one kind of blends, the flavors kind of all blend together. you can kind of pick up nuances. But this one,
This is the 6-year is more balanced too. This one, the 4-year, again, it's bitey. It's a bit all over the place. It's very grainy. The notes that are there, I'm not a huge fan of this one. But the 6-year, everything is kind of starting to come together. Flavors are richer. It's more balanced. It's not fighting with me as much. What's the price point on these?
That's a good question. I think I think this, just the regular Crooked Furrow, is
40-ish,
somewhere in
the
that
$40 range.
Yeah. So you would imagine then, what would you, an extra 2 years, what do you think that
Probably
would, that would
55.
run?
Yep, 50,
Somewhere in
50,
that range.
54, something like that.
So is it, and I don't know if anybody in this room could really answer this question, is it more, I suppose it's not more profitable for
Well, it
a
takes
distillery
another
like
10 years,
another,
they,
right.
They lose a certain amount again, especially if they're going to
But let's say you're
bottle
making
it at the same proof. I mean,
you're making gin and vodka as a startup distillery to get to your 2-year and your 4-year. So do you start making your 2-year and your 4-year bourbon to get to your 6-year? And then once that's available, you just continue like that?
this went in the barrel in 2017, and the 6-year went in 2015.
Okay. But I mean, do you just keep stepping it up as a distiller? Is my question making any sense? Is it
I'm
only
not
just to me?
I am not. I always have a hard time answering these questions because whether or not you like the whiskey is obviously a personal decision, right? Some people are gonna love this,
Right,
Right,
which I do.
whereas I don't really care for this one, right?
I do love it.
But the fact is that there was some craft and some hard work that went into this.
Oh, absolutely.
By whoever made it. So I have a hard time saying like, no, they shouldn't have even released it, right? Purely my opinion, purely my perspective, I would have started here. To me, I wouldn't have released this because this to me is not something I would drink by itself. This
Right.
is more of a mixer to me. So if they're looking at it from that perspective, sure. I don't necessarily know if they were because it's a single barrel selection. Usually, you're not putting out single barrels on cocktail mixers.
Well, we've talked about the single barrel selections too. I mean, that's a vast difference. This could be the barrel that the folks
Yeah.
that picked the barrel liked because it was a little lighter, it was a little easier on
Yeah.
the palate. It wasn't.
That's true. We are talking about 2 single barrels. I mean,
Right.
we're talking about 2.
Well, I imagine that there's only 250 of those.
Well-
There was probably only 2 barrels to begin with.
right. That is Proof's pick. That one.
Right.
This comes from Happy Harry's up in Fargo, and you're right. That could have been what they chose.
That's very
Their
valid.
profile.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now we
Because-
got to have the small batch.
Well, and I remember the very first time we had it. To me, and I think now we're kind of getting to the root of it here. This single barrel, I think this picked by Happy Harry's is not the same.
No.
Even close to the very original 4-year that we had the first time.
I don't believe it is either.
To me, that 4-year original tasted more like this.
I think you're right. I think
Yeah.
it was a little heavier.
I prefer this profile.
It's-
Again, it is single barrel versus single barrel. So maybe instead of saying I'm not a fan of what they did here, I should say I'm not a fan of this pick of this
go.
version. So
Yeah,
I think that's better put.
Yeah, exactly. So
Well, I think back to your question about, how they decide on the ages. I mean, just from the different distillery tours that I've done and even talking to these guys when they did the sampling for us, I think that they have product of varying ages laid down and they're tasting through them consistently.
Mm-hmm.
And when they know it's good, when they feel like it's hit a kind of a good level, they're going to start bottling some of it. So they may not have had a plan necessarily to release 6 years, but they tasted this and they said, this is great. We need to get this out to market. And that's what you see a lot of distilleries doing. They're tasting, those master distillers are out there tasting stuff all the time, trying to figure out where the best spots are in the rick house, when different things are ready. And, I think they hit this one on the head for sure with the 6 year. I think it's great.
Well, I think, we obviously recommend that you buy a bottle of this. You can get it at Timmins, of course, at either one of your locations.
You can get the 6 year.
No, not the 6 year.
Oh,
The
okay.
6 year is that's you got to know some people for that one. All right, and I don't know how we stumbled into it, but we did. So
Well, the second I saw the post, I just kind of went on there kind of jokingly and went, how does a fella get a bottle of that? And lo and behold,
So
a couple weeks
you-
later, they send an email like, hey, oh, by the way, we're going to be in town. You want one of these? I'm like, huh?
you moved this forward.
Yeah.
There's a reason why I keep you on.
Oh,
this.
I'm not afraid today.
No, I know you're not. You're not afraid to just throw it right out there. Hey, can we mention what we talked about last week that's coming back? Can we?
It's not COVID.
Can we? It's here forever, Gabe.
Oh, okay. I'm not wearing a mask on this podcast.
What we had to? What's coming in August?
The Jack tasting?
Yeah, can we mention that?
Yeah,
now?
that is coming back.
It is.
I
This
just
is gonna
heard
be cool.
from Galvin last week. It is coming back.
Well, for those that don't know, this happens at the Sturgis Motorcycle Rally.
Tuesday.
There's a limited number of tickets that will be available
100
for
of 'em.
That's it?
Yep.
Well, that's all they do.
96.
So, right. Very well done.
It might be 104.
And I think
There's 100 of them for sale. Somehow we wiggle in and
the assistant master distiller will be there, correct? She will be that's hosting it. The master distiller, I think, had something else going on and wasn't able to attend. It's the first one we've been able to do in a couple of years, correct?
Jack has not been out here because of for obvious reasons.
Right. And so we're going to bring that back to the rally. It'll be the Tuesday of the rally.
The rally starts at 1. It finishes about the time of the B1 flyover on Main Street.
And I tell you what, if we have it in the same location that we did last time,
That's
Gabe,
where it's
Gabe,
on.
none of this matters to you, all right? You see this every day. But it's a super exciting thing that happens.
It's called Air Force privilege.
It's a super exciting thing that happens over Main Street in Sturgis because at about 3 p.m. they do a flyover that goes right down Main Street during the motorcycle rally. And it's, you've got tens of thousands of people that are lining that Main Street. And when that thing flies over, I mean, it does. You get goosebumps. You just can't help it.
So your bones start to rattle when that thing flies.
Right.
From our vantage point, though, it flies
It's
over to
even-
about eye level.
Exactly, because we're way up kind of in the hill there in Sturgis on the north end. Is that where that house is?
Yep.
And-
Below the Sturgis sign on Sturgis Hill.
So you've sampled a bunch of Jack products. You've got to talk with the assistant master distiller. You get your own bottle of single barrel with that ticket, I believe, too. Is that what they're going to do?
Historically, that
is
I am
accurate.
told. I believe that everything is the same as it has been in
Excellent.
the past.
Or I'm really going to get us in trouble for mentioning all this stuff.
Lexi Amaker Phillips is the assistant master distiller.
Is there only
currently.
one? Is it the master distiller and then there's one underneath? Or do
Yeah,
they have
I think there's a master taster in there somewhere.
Okay.
I don't know if
But we'll get
Jack
Lexi.
has that or if those two take care of it. But we have Lexi. Yep.
Excellent. So tickets will go on sale for that here.
As soon as I get a picture of Lexi.
Well, apparently, are you looking at it right there?
Well,
Can you just download that one or no?
I'm looking at an email from Galvin to Lexi
Okay.
asking her which picture she would like us to
Very
use.
good. Perfect.
And I have chosen not to make that decision for her.
All right. Well, gentlemen, thank you very much for coming in and doing this. And I think next time we get together, we're going to get back to Gabe's expertise.
So
Although,
fun fact, I've never tried these ones.
I was going to say, we get to drink something that you haven't had before, which
Are we
is
gonna
going to
do
be
the
kind of
shrimp
cool.
prosciutto
Yes.
that we're going back to next week?
I brought it today, but Houston City had a surprise bottle. I said, if there's a snake in there, somebody's getting hurt. And by that I meant probably me as I ran out and fell down the stairs. But
It's Gabe
I'd be
Aldridge.
impressed.
It's Dan
For the
Bruner
record, I would have tried it.
and Rob
I wouldn't
Henry, Whiskey at Work. Thank you guys all so much for listening and watching. And
Cheers.
maybe we'll do it in the studio again. I don't know. We'll see how it turns out.